And that's right, it's episode number 2 of
USFAPN. I'm Rye Loghorn, or Log Hall, or Rye Log Hall, or something like that.
And I'm Pawtai Pawtai, and we're here today to talk about the Big D. I'm talking about the draft. So, coming up, let's look at what went down in round number 1.
That's right, the Big D, baby, not Detroit.
That's right, because Pittsburgh out in Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, that's right. They got the Stank, Anthony Stank, with number 1 pick. You gotta love the sticky fingers all over that one from Pittsburgh. The loudest pick of the draft, for sure.
Ooh, loudest pick of the draft out of Arkansas, Little Rock, but dense as fuck, so you know what we're talking about.
That Stank.
Ooh, so, but, Philbin kind of filled in that second round pick coming from Arizona State Party School, so have a couple doubts about him. And Dusty Rooks, that's like if you're an expert chess player, you don't even fuck around with the rook. You just use, your horse in your castle and your queen. That's how you know you're a good player.
That's how you got the Dusty Rooks. Shout out to Dusty Rooks. Don't play him in chess.
Exactly. But all around, and can't forget about Anchorage with coming in, Anchorage, as Stacks mentioned, up and comer in the league. So got to be on the lookout. But
as Stacks will mention in our forthcoming interview.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
And the first quarterback of the draft as well, Dane Jones, going from Arizona to Alaska. Yes, the states both start with A, but the temperatures are very different. I know that does not seem like the biggest factor in the simulated league, but I think it's something people need to take into account. We're not talking about that. How hard will it be for Dane to adjust?
Yes. The temperature difference is quite of a big one. But like,
the piss freezes before it hits the ground.
Oh yeah, down in Anchorage.
Up in Anchorage.
Up in Anchorage. Yeah, actually a low percentage of UTIs up there because of the frozen P scenario. But we've got basically all around this was big. Shout out to the Rattlers. One of the teams we're profiling today was Sutherland, the offensive linebacker out of Baylor, and Riker Bryston, straight out of Riker Island, App State. Charlotte Royals, who were also profiling this week, coming down with the 8th pick. So, that was the first round. What'd you think, Rye?
I think a lot of trades in the draft, which I'd love to see. It means that there's a lot of activity. It means that teams are doing their scouting. It means that those that traded up really believe in those players. Jerry Philbin, the pressure is on.
Absolutely.
And else, can we just shout out to Riker Bryston?
Yeah.
Great name, hard to say, really making things difficult on Stacks, who does seem to have the skill set of a person that announces graduation ceremonies with his ability to pronounce all of these wild-ass names out there.
Yes, absolutely. True orator.
Ron Jolan.
Here we go. Travis Vaughn starting off the second round. Very simple. Vince's brother out of Ole Miss. And look at this. Another trade from Pittsburgh to Tampa Bay. And they switch hands.
Jackson Brady. Sounds like the name of my hipster cousin's baby.
And can't forget about Tom Krieg Jr. I don't know. This could be confirmed of, Krieg out of goals from the commissioner going to HBV. Get himself checked for that HBV, or what is it? You get a shot for that?
I don't know.
Okay. Then we've got Trey Glock. Oh my God, what a sick name. Free safety. He's freeing the safety on that Glock.
Full clip. Oh no. Trey Glock with the free safety. Woo. Damn, name. You better wash the fuck out if you're on the field against him. Trey.
And then the Mafia taking Tyree Wells, defensive tackle. Huntington Beach Voyagers. These are the... where is Huntington Beach? Is that New York?
Huntington Beach? Connecticut?
Yeah, these are like the Connecticut Vikings. Got Cliff Allen.
I tell you what, it's warmer than Anchorage. So Cliff,
yeah, that's true.
pack your swimsuit. It's a beach.
Exactly.
It might be California.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true.
My mother is taking me and my sisters on a golf trip that she won in a silent auction, and it's in Long Beach. And when I saw it, I'm like, this is going to be awesome, but it's Long Beach, Indiana. Yeah. So.
Hey, that's still sick though.
It's right across the bay from the factories.
I,
The fish have 3 eyes.
oh yeah, what a hazard! Might pop out.
Long Beach, Indiana, baby. This might be Huntington Beach, Dakota. I don't know.
So, but we do.
Let's
know,
actually look this up.
Yeah,
you keep talking, and I'm going to look this up.
Well, the Arizona Rattlers got Carolina Andrinac, a kicker. Hey, that's the first kicker we've seen. And then the Royals took down Kenny Bombard, blasting off strong safety.
It's California.
And UCF. Oh, it is California?
California.
And then we've got Xavier Lingham. Recognize that name from another league. Cornerback coming out of Maryland. Crab State. And HBV Ethan McWells.
Wow, yeah, a lot of STD related puns being made here, and I gotta say, very interesting. The names get more normalized the later into the draft we go.
Well, let's see what happens in the third round. We've got Mike McIver coming out of Baylor, another Baylor graduate. This one going to Anchorage via Tampa Bay, via Pittsburgh, 3-way trade, and high hopes for McIver. Seems like he's rolling, such as Austin Wheeler, who's the second pick, 22nd, Pittsburgh.
Interesting to see half of the picks in this round traded. That means that there are some people that feel like a lot of talent slipped into the later rounds and they had to go get them.
Yeah, that's the way that things sometimes divulge, such as the Dallas Dragons, who took Jackson Storm. Lightning was a Bruin for an offensive linebacker. Thomas Noble, named after the Laureate. Laureate. Defensive tackle, Arizona State. And then we've got Jake Parkey, perhaps the second kicker to come out, and they're going straight to the Mafia.
I got to say, Arizona State really producing a lot of simulated prospects this last year. I guess they weren't partying that hard.
Yes, I guess not. Dallas walked away with Braxton McFadden, Fresno State, which is, I don't know, is it in California?
It is. Or Texas.
And the Rattlers took Jason Matiso, cornerback, and then Chris Sheen for Charlotte.
Right, grandson of Charlie Sheen.
Yes. And then Jason Cash, of the late Johnny Cash, the Tacoma Eruption offensive linebacker, one of the bigger-bodied Cash singers, has a low drawl on the microphone. And also from Dallas is Joey Phillips, strong safety from Arkansas. Joey Phillips in goals. Could there be a connection, or is it just a common name? Be determined. But finally, wrapping us up, we have the ultimate villain, Hendrix Harlow. You might have seen him in the, Hogwarts Legacy video game. Defensive end for Arizona State, another one. And then here's a good name, Bodacious.
Bodacious, another former SFL player, I believe. Welcome, Bodacious.
Yeah, welcome to Pittsburgh. And then we've got Head Darien.
I love getting Head.
Yes.
So shout out to Alaska for getting Head in the fourth round, baby.
Getting some snow. Dude Lebowski out of Rutgers.
Great school.
Can't remember any catchphrases from the movie, but I'll shout them out here. And then Darian Blackman, offensive linebacker for the Mafia. And then interesting here, Joseph Eric Thompson. Usually the middle name is hyphenated to the last name.
Yeah, you don't really see the hyphenated first name, Joseph Eric. Maybe it's French. Joseph Eric.
Oh.
Joseph Eric Thompson.
But coming in as the last pick, the running back, running through Memphis, or came from Memphis to Dallas. So that's what we got for the draft. But, what we've got in store for you today is something real interesting. It's going to be a coverage on the two teams that lost to the previous two teams we deep dived on. That was the St. Louis Archers and Tacoma Eruption. And for you today, we've got our coming up strong from a formidable red state. It is the Arizona Rattlers. And let's just talk about their roster first. Maybe we'll go to their stats.
Well, let's talk about their mascot first. The Rattlers.
The Rattler.
I would say I would prefer the rattlesnakes because at least you get the vision of the full snake. But Rattler probably implies something even. The rattle is just the sound that implies the snake. It's a fearsome name. It's hot. A lot of sand in Arizona.
There's also rattles in baby cribs, and
is it the Arizona baby rattlers or Arizona rattler snakes? Do we know?
It is, to be determined. It is just the rattles.
Maybe it's a venomous snake that's not a rattler, by their species, but in Arizona they tie baby rattles to the tails of the most poisonous snakes, so that way when a super poisonous snake is about to sneak up on you.
Or it's one of those snakes that intimidates something that is venomous and powerful by just evolving with the rattle, but not the poison or anything. And it's trying to feign its way into being perceived as a threat when in reality it's not. But to be determined. All I know that there's one name on this team that you need to know, and
that's Dominique, because it's the one name that is two names.
There we go. It's also Krim. Krim's on this team. I don't know his first. I think it's John Krim. Krim. He's the Krim Reaper.
He's the Krim de la Krim.
He's the Krim Reaper is what
he
goes.
Reaper.
The Krim Reaper. He was a one of the SFL exits that became a part of this league. As we'll see a theme that's becoming to emerge. Dominique, I like that name. Also, Dominique's year 7. If we look at the player that has the highest years in the league, it is Antonio Lewis, tied with Dominique. Dominique with 7 years. But if we look at the apes, that is actually Sir Lancelot, who's leading with 2,458.
Wow, 2,458 apes? That's insane.
That's insane. But not to be
out-aped.
Yes, by Ulf Jacobson, great Norwegian player, came in early in the draft, 2,043 points coming in there. So, ultimately, when we look at this team, we see a lot of possibilities.
And a lot of purple.
A lot of purple or magenta.
Magenta.
So when we see, overall the number of
single-digit touchdowns, that looks like that'll be a problem next year.
Yeah,
If I were them, I would try to score more touchdowns next year.
The thing
that's the key to victory, I would say. That's my key to victory for the Arizona Rattlers is score more touchdowns.
Score more touchdowns. And I would say this TOD, and if you don't know what this means, you shouldn't be watching this show. But they have a -2.
-2 Tods. That's unexcusable.
Yeah, but I will
-2 at home. But it's funny that they're better with the Tods than away.
Exactly, yeah. The Tods, yeah. Anyways, but they do have a red zone.
Oh, those are TOs, not TDs. I don't really know what a TO is.
Turnover.
Oh, they got 9 turnovers. Well, keep that number down.
Yes. But keep your red zone percentage up because you have a 72.88% red zone percentage. So shout out to our first team, the Arizona Rattlers.
And interesting to see, too, only 71 punt return yards compared to 1,697 kick return. Are they not being punted against?
Yeah, they're just really pressing them deep into the Rattler. But coming up next, we've got our second team, Charlotte Royals.
Oh, my God. People are on Charlotte's dick.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
You would have thought they won the championship.
Almost. They came close to defeating either the Archers.
The Archers.
Okay.
It was close.
Yes. So we've got Ricardo Lopez.
The early favorite to win the United Bowl next year.
Yes.
I always get it confused with the Super Bowl because it's which one is bigger again?
Yes. It's sometimes hard to decipher scope, but when we look at the longevity of the team, the longest is Caitlin Montag, cornerback. Montana, year 7, followed closely by Ricardo Lopez, and then
And let's talk about Spiderweb and Pat Drescott, probably some of the best names on the team. B. Flowers may or may not be a real team or a real team name. Shane Knox, Jack Molyneux, fake names, real namers. I don't know.
Lee Flowers.
I said his name, but I didn't make any comments about it. So do you have something to say about Lee?
All I can say is there's Tank Falco and Hank Falco, and I think they may be the same person.
Let's go, Falco.
Falcon
Punch!
So these make up the basics of the Charlotte Royals.
And that's why they get the royal purple.
Yes. What a regal purple there is. And
regal font color.
If we look at their stats...
how many Todds they got? 15 Todds.
15 Todds. They got no negative Todds here.
Wow. Big difference between team we saw before.
But they do have a 67.8 red zone percentage, so I would say it's more like an orange zone. You think the other team on a color scale is going to be a little bit deeper shaded. So, no shade on them.
A lot of big plays from the Charlotte Royals.
Royals, on the other hand, do have a 57% third down completion rating. And get this, 66.67. Actually, it's probably 66.666 repeating fourth down percentage. So 2 out of 3 times that they go on fourth down, they're getting it. So they should be going every single time.
Right. It's math.
It's math. So anyways, we're now going to turn over to our interview with Stacks. And welcome to our second guest. We've got the esteemed Stacks here in the building. Stacks, please tell us about who you are in the league. Who's your player? How'd you get here?
Well, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. My name's Stacks. I've been in many sim leagues all over for many sports. And as far as the league goes, you know me as the voice of the USFA. I've ran every single game. I did commentary on every single game. And that's the main gist there. My players are Vic Dotson, tight end for the Charlotte Royals, and my strong safety, Preston Dotson, for your Season 7 champion, St. Louis Archers.
Oh.
And Stacks, how did you get into simulated sports and ultimately into this league?
It was kind of random, to be honest. I was just like peeking around through Google and ended up seeing a league called SFL. I'm sure you guys heard of it. And that was kind of where I started my base of being in sim leagues, learning about the virtual side of sports. I love playing sports, and I love video games, so why not combine them? And yeah, that's pretty much where it's from. And then me and Caboose, we met in another sim league. We're not going to name that said sim league because Caboose hates it. And and yeah, like he came up with the idea. He wanted to start his own league. He wanted to do something a little bit different from them. He wanted to make sure players were visible, and the rest is history. We're now going towards Season 8.
And what a ride it's been so far with you and Caboose, working together. How would you kind of describe your partnership with Caboose? How do you kind of see things being split up? Like, how do you two make the USFA possible?
Well, it's pretty tough with a 2-man team, like especially in the beginning. Even though like with the sim we used back in the day, Axis, it was a lot easier on us to like produce the game. But pretty much everything you see on the field is pretty much made by me or like set up by me, and everything else is set up by him. And we kind of like meet in the middle wherever we need. If I need some clarity, I go to him, or vice versa. And that's like my best Discord buddy right there, even though I hate him. So.
Well, I think, big thank you from everyone in the league for everything you do to keep the games running. Can you tell us about behind the scenes? What does the back end look like? Is this a bunch of Xboxes you have running on a rack or?
No, not at all. It's all ran on PC.
Nice.
We've sold our souls to figure out how to mod this game. Like, I cannot tell you how much prep work, how much Discord digging, how much Google searching we had to figure out to even come close to the product that we have now for Madden. It's been a fun ride for sure, even though it was very, very troubling in a lot of areas. But outside of that, it's fun seeing the new face of the league going to the fold. It's been fun going through that ride.
You talk about like the face of the league. If you had like to like put in perspective of your own, who do you think represents the general audience of the USFA? If you could speak on behalf of your total user base, who would these people be?
In regard to, I didn't understand the question. Say it again.
Who plays in the USFA? Like people in America, yeah.
Yeah. It's mostly American. For what I've seen a few like outside of the country. I've seen a few from Australia pop through. Got some Canadians up in there too. I think that's the main basis would be American, and especially since we're basing it off of American football, so it's kind of obvious.
And so, with the technology aspect of it, how did you figure out how to set this all up, Stacks? Are you an engineer of some sort in your reality life?
I am in a way. So kind of go a little bit further back. I was in the military, um, in the Coast
Thank you
Guard
for your
for
service.
about 9 years. Thanks. And I've been doing IT with them for, I would say, 7 of those years. Um, before I actually got out, now I'm kind of doing a little bit more security based stuff, building security systems, and that didn't really translate into the actual making of the game, but in a lot of ways, like has kept me on my toes in regards to a lot of those small things that kind of get in the way. Like try to keep a level head, try something different, don't try to blow everything up just because it didn't work. So that definitely did help a lot.
And for all our hackers out there watching, what's the easiest way to hack the league?
No comment. Actually, well, the easiest way is to invite a bot that will wipe the server, and I'm sure Caboose will get a kick out of that.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But if you think about like what's the best way to grow your player most, so if somebody enters the league and they want to be the best, are there like opportunities for them in the league, either through contributions or through financial transactions to like accelerate the pace of play and like progression of their player, or is everybody on kind of an even playing field?
Um, I'd say that in the beginning portion, just like a fresh face into the league, everyone's pretty much on the even playing field. But if you've seen the draft, there was one player in particular that out of all the people that just came to the league out of nowhere, he stood out because he was able to purchase some TPE available, and they actually got him to a mid first rounder. And he was already an active player before that, so he was, in my eyes, already going to be a first rounder. But like that put him over the top, and that is one way you can. There's also like the channel points. You can also use those to purchase your TPE, doing jobs like commentary, updaters, stat team, etc. I mean, there's plenty of ways to skin that cat and to be the best you could be here. And I'm happy to see all the people contribute.
What was the biggest surprise of this year's draft for you?
Probably how far. Actually, no, I take that back. We'll start from the beginning. Pittsburgh, man, like they swung and got 2 beasts out of the first and the second pick. They traded to get that second pick, getting Philbin and also getting Stank. That was pretty crazy. And also Sutherland falling all the way down to 7. I didn't expect that either. But you never know in regards to draft, anything can happen. It's pretty fun.
You remember when you got drafted?
Not really. It's all a blur now. all the sims I've ran, all the productions I've done, the state of the address, everything. I just know what teams I went to when I was drafted, but outside of that, I don't remember the. Well, I know it was a first round pick both sides, but I don't know like what number.
You don't remember much, but you remember you went in the first round. I love it.
I know. It's got to be something. It's got to be something.
That's right. You got to have the facts right. And so I'm curious, like being the voice of the league, like that's does that hold like pressure for you whenever you're doing these kind of like, or how do you prepare for that each time you go into a game?
Well, just knowing that there's going to be a lot of people waiting for these games, that keeps me motivated to getting them out. Especially seeing as like just like me and Caboose were pretty much the main two guys, including First Fray as well. Um, we're pretty much like the pillars that keeps it afloat. And I know I have a responsibility here. I know there's a lot of people that believe in us, and also seeing the plays on the field that gets me pumped just all in itself. I love seeing the new players get in. I love seeing the veterans go from year to year to year, getting better. And I love going back, looking back at previous plays. I love making content. I mean, it all comes full circle when it comes to bringing the game every time it needed.
I know it's way too early. We just had the draft. Who's your early year pick for winner next year?
It's tough. As of right now, I probably have to give it to Charlotte still because I still believe they're the most well-rounded team. Defense, offense, they have weapons. They have a top quarterback that only threw 5 interceptions this past season and almost 50 touchdowns. I mean, it's kind of hard not to look that way. The running game, they've had, I believe, Spiderweb had over 1,800 rushing yards and over 12 touchdowns as well. So there's just so many weapons. Of course, you got Vic Dotson. You really can't go wrong when you have Vic Dotson on your team. So a little bit of bias there, but it's a good reason to be biased. They're really stacked. I'd say probably second place on the other side. Probably Arizona as well. Probably the two teams that were expected to make it to the United Bowl. I'll say those are the two teams to look out for, in my opinion.
One of the things I love about the USFA is the names, and Spiderweb, one of my favorite. What's your favorite name in the league?
Was one of my favorites. She's no longer in the league because she retired, but your mom, I've always had fun doing commentary, doing up that was like your mom scored a touchdown. I love doing that. I've seen the last one, Amy McNamerson, and ironically, they're both made by the same player. That's pretty funny. Turts, shout out to Turts, man. There's plenty of good names though. Joseph Joseph, Usulu Masulu Rusu. What's that? Felix Delachon for all my French people. I love saying that on stream too. So those are a few of the ones that come off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I need to bring up a list like Caboose did, but like there's so many really good ones.
It sounds like there's a lot of great names here in the league, but I'm curious, based on my history as a kicker in the SFL, I'm kind of curious, like who's the strongest leg in the league in the US?
I'll have to give it either to two players, and I might actually no, I take that back. I know exactly who it is. I believe it's Brent Skoma, and ironically enough, he got traded in this previous draft, so he's going to be playing for, I believe, Anchorage via the trade. So Brent Skoma, he should be the kicker punter of the year, I believe. So I believe he's going to be that guy, and he's definitely one of my favorite kickers too.
Well, those Alaskan wins. Hopefully, they don't throw him off his game.
Yeah, exactly. Alaska, they're trying to get to the playoffs for the first time, and they did pretty good for their first campaign. Got some good wins, but they just fell a little short. Got blown out a few times, so that messed up their point differential late in the season.
I can see how that would, delay the progression. The USFA is off to a huge boom, plus 40 people in the class, and I'm sure it's going to continue to grow. I'm curious, 5 years from now, where do you see the league?
5 years from now, oh man, hopefully I'm not still running streams. Hopefully we got some more people by then. But as far as like team wise, I would love to see at least 22 to 24 teams. I think that would be a really good standard where everyone has an ample amount of active players, no fillers, no inactive players. The chat's booming. We got a whole bunch of sponsors as well to help us along. Of course, we'll have multiple people doing commentary, doing streams to pretty much give everyone ample chances to be great without burning out, that's probably the best idea like for that.
Excellent. Well, here's to the longevity of the league. Stacks, it's been great having you on the show. Thanks so much for showing up, sharing your perspective in the league, connect voice league. Thanks so much. Do you have any shout outs?
Oh man, shout out to everybody, man. It would not be the USFA without each and every one of y'all tuning in every week in the chat, in the forum, on the Twitch, on the YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So appreciate each and every one of you, especially all the new ones that have yet to see this. Make sure you get your asses up in the league. I'm going to call your name every game. So shout out to y'all. Thanks again, man. And I hope you have a good rest of the evening.
All right, you too. Take
Thanks, Stacks.
Stay safe, y'all.
And we're back from our interview with Stacks.
Fucking phenomenal interview.
Yeah, that was really fucking sick.
Thanks, Stacks.
Yeah, thanks so much for hopping on. Really elevated the show. And we're looking forward to where it continues to go, but that can only be possible with the likes and subscriptions from our viewers. I know we got 30 views last time, only 8 subscribers. So if you're watching this again for the second time, you better hit that subscribe button so we can keep popping up and keep delivering you the information that you need. So without further ado, we present to you the end of the episode. Thanks for hopping on, and see you next time.